Hello and welcome to another episode of Those Muckrakers. Episode number 46. The other shoe is about to drop. As always, I am your delightful man-child host, Peter.
And I am the other. Am I a man-child too? Do I count in that? Or
It depends. I mean, I don't know,
do I
man.
not have that hat?
It depends. I don't know if you can really become a man-child until you have a girlfriend who also thinks you're a man-child.
I see. So I have merely adapted to the man-childness. You were born in it.
Yeah, I think
Molded by it.
I think you're a swinging bachelor, and I think I'm just I'm an overgrown man-child.
Hell yeah, swinging Bachelor Pat here. I have my sign on now.
I really hate that I always thought that I would love to work in radio, but I don't think they would. I think I'm too low energy. I think you'd be great because you somehow turn on that like really annoying morning zoo radio charm and you're like, it's Pat in the morning. What's going on with traffic? Like, and I could do the news maybe.
Traffic here. And traffic at 11, there is a woman that is very angry at the person sitting next to her on a plane. Let's go over there and see what their story is.
I gave, speaking of traffic, I gave so many buses the middle finger today.
What happened?
They were slow and in my way, and there's one bus that was just, I don't know if it chose the middle of that intersection to break down or what, but like I was trapped and I desperately wanted to get out from behind that bus and...
That reminds me of me shopping at Walmart today. Like, somehow I ended up behind these, like, three ladies that put their carts side by side in a lane that only can support two carts. And they're all just stuck there and content to just sort of wait and do nothing. So I turn around and three more people have filed in behind me. And I'm like, oh shit, this is my assassination attempt. Someone's about to come for me. I'm blocked in. I can't move.
They said instead of killing you, they just stay there until you go insane.
Until I expire. So there's nothing to eat. But look at all this Walmart food around you. No, I don't like this aisle.
Good old Walmart food. Yeah, so, the news today is, I guess I'm really am a pessimist. I never thought it would happen. I never thought that the president would run out of political capital.
Yes, I really did think that he was so much above the law that this really would just sort of get strung along, and that we'd keep waiting for Mueller to release his report, and he never would, or more and more people around Trump would keep getting arrested, but more and more people like Giuliani would just step up to the plate and, keep taking their places endlessly, right? Like, we get rid of one head of the Hydra and two more grow back to take its place.
Not even the Hydra.
No end of deplorables that are willing to fill in his administration.
Because I think the best example is either South American or like African dictators, and they're like, you read about them and they're like crazy, like I can't remember which country it was from, but the guy's wife, Imelda Marcos, she owned like thousands of pairs of shoes while the people were starving, and you're like, how does that even happen? And like Idi Amin, an African dictator, called himself I think he called himself like the king of the birds of the air and the fish of the sea and of England. Something like that, and you're like, that's ridiculous. How did anybody let that guy run things? And then you just look at the president and you go, oh, okay, I can see that now.
Yeah, you look at American politics and you're like, oh, they have a Fox News over there too. It's called state TV.
You're not so different, you and I.
But Trump says that he's the king of England. Yeah, well, Hillary in 1994 accepted campaign donations illicitly from. It's like, oh my God.
Well,
he said he's the king of the air and the birds of the sea. Yeah, but Hillary Pizzagate, okay, buttery mails, all right, her emails.
It's just, man, I'm going home for the holidays, and I'm really hoping that like just none of this comes up, because I've done, before the podcast and all that, I did a really good job of just like biting down really hard on my lip, because I'll never forget my dear sweet. Huh?
Peter's been insulated by his New York bubble all this time.
No.
He's about to come back to Georgia.
No, I have not been insulated.
Like, people down here don't take kindly to New York folk.
That's the
okay?
thing. It's not an insulated bubble. I've gone at it with like coworkers that like are vehemently on the opposite side of the political spectrum as me. So it's not. It's not like
Peter's argued with people all the way from liberal to very liberal, the whole spectrum.
I hate you so much, and you would do so well on Fox News. That's why I hate you, because you just turn on this whole just like, well, really,
bullshit artist.
What it comes down. I'm like, I friggin' hate you. But there was one
But
time when I was in we were at a family gathering, and somebody said something about healthcare, and one of my family members just goes, I just hope that I hope President Trump will fix it. He's the guy, and I just did this thing where it looked like I had a seizure because I just bit down on my lip really hard, and I was like da 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 da, like that's the music that goes off in my head when I'm trying to not say stuff. Yeah, it was So I'm like, God, let's hope none of that comes up because I'm gonna just I don't know what I'll do. I might just leave. Maybe I'll just walk out.
Well, all right, family. I'm gonna go take a Trump walk and Trump dump at the end of the. And they just run out the door.
Well, I mean,
Why did he say something about Trump? Oh, how lovely.
We have a pond at my place, so maybe I could just walk out, dunk my head under the pond, and scream real loud underwater.
Just take a very long walk off a very short pier. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah. But the big thing that's happening right now, and this is why I think that the tide is changing.
The other shoe is about to drop in.
Yeah, I've said maybe the tide is changing before, but so he announced that his chief of staff, which, by the way, chief of staff is the guy that kind of runs the White House, controls access to the president. His chief of staff, General John Kelly, who's effectively, as you say, has been president and is kind of running the country, was going to step down. He was going to leave, and he was going to leave right after talking to Mueller. He sat down, talked to Mueller, and they go, "Well, how'd it go?" And he's like, "I quit." They had announced it, and he had a new guy lined up, Nick Ayers.
Now here's the great thing, the story you didn't know, is that now we knew back in last Friday, whenever we did the last episode, that this was going to happen, but John Kelly wasn't going to formally announce this until Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That was whenever he was going to tell, or not Saturday, Monday. He was going to wait till Monday to formally tell everyone. However, now this is something that he and Trump decided together, that he would formally announce his resignation on Monday. Trump then on Saturday announced it for him, just to be a little shit and say, yes, I got rid of him. He's very sad, a very poor employee, so I'm doing away with him. He made it official, right?
Wait, did he actually say that about Kelly?
Oh, no, I was just doing a
Trump
impression.
Okay, because you got to remember, man, I can't tell what's a joke and what he actually said anymore, because I thought he was trying to do damage control and pretend that Kelly's a great guy and he's not attacking him like he's attacking Rex Tillerson right now.
Oh, did you hear that? Whenever oh God, I have so many things I want to respond to that with. Okay.
Well, John Kelly's leaving.
Go ahead. Let's stick to the subject for now.
His chief of staff, a job that anybody would love to have because it looks great on your resume. Oh, it's the president's chief of staff, right?
This is one of the best. This is a position that people spend their entire lives trying and failing to achieve. Serious, very smart, very capable people.
And they can't get anyone to do it. The guy that was going to do it said nope. And also, I'm moving back to Georgia as far away from you as possible.
It's a second-year president, right? He's still in year 2. He's not quite at year 3 yet. Not for another month and a half.
Yeah.
This is a second-year president who can't fill his chief of staff position. This is completely unprecedented. This has never happened before. He's having more difficulty filling it now than presidents who are on year 7 or 8 have had filling it. If something came up, and their chief of staff had to leave.
Well, because
they're well, I'll be a chief of staff for a lame duck president. No one wants that.
But it just shows you how damaging this would be to anybody's career, and how
the guy that turned it down is 36 years old.
Yeah.
This is momentous for him. No 36-year-old gets offered this position, and he was offered it because he had all the best qualifications. His hair was blonde, and that's it. Seriously, Trump said, "I like that his hair is blonde," and that really is a Trump thing that he's done. But not only did he not take the job, but he quit his current White House job and said that he's fleeing to Georgia.
Yeah. To just make it official here, those Muckrakers would love to throw their hat in the ring to take the job as chief of staff. You can have us,
yes, I'll take it in a heartbeat.
You can have us as a pair, we'll kind of tag team the position. You can take one of us, and the other one has to be attached as the chief of staff's manservant. If you want to go that way, we can do it as one person.
I will wear a dog collar.
We can do it as hell, we'll do it as one person, one of us on the other one's shoulders in a trench coat.
in a
You know?
very tall trench coat. Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, look how tall Trump's chief of staff is. He kind of looks like two guys in a trench coat.
Oh my God, Sarah Huckabee Sanders would have to stare at the camera and say with a serious expression on her face, "Now that is just ridiculous. They are not two people on each other's shoulders, okay? They are one person. He is not very tall. He is a normal height of about 5 feet 6 inches, maybe 6 feet on a good day."
I would love to have the title also changed if we're going to do that from chief of staff to Chief Goliath. And anytime we do a press interview, we just go boom, bing, bang, fee, fa, fo, fum, and just we just talk nonsense. So
Step into a Slim Jim.
just putting that out there. I don't care how many convictions the president has. I'll do it. I'll do it. We'll do it. Put us out there. Pick us up, Trump. I know you listen to this, so. Also, if any of our listeners could maybe get this podcast into the hands of the president, get us on Fox and Friends. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be fun.
But except for us who have not received the call yet, they can't find anybody to fill it. I never thought his political capital would run out because it seems that he just does crazier and crazier things and it just makes people support him more. I didn't realize there was an upper limit. He's like a Super Saiyan of stupid.
He's reached stupid Saiyan 3.
Yeah, it's just
no, it's over 9,000.
Yeah, it's just like the harder you hit him, the dumber and more powerful he gets.
Like a mentally handicapped Wobbuffet.
But yeah, he's looks like he's hit his upper limit, so that's horrible. In addition to that, his lawyer Michael Cohen is getting 3 years in prison. I'll repeat it again. The president's personal lawyer and fixer is
lifelong lawyer
going to jail for 3 years.
And in court, when that sentence was announced, he said in all seriousness that this marks the time, this prison sentence marks the moment that he truly knows freedom again.
Right. And I don't know how much of his speech I buy because he talked about he felt, that he had to cover up Trump's deeds and stuff and that he was...
Says who?
Yeah. He was... that he was, just entrapped in this whole thing. And I don't know, maybe he's being sincere. But also, he's staring down the barrel of sentencing, so people generally say pretty remorseful stuff. I don't even know how much of those 3 years he'll serve, but in his thing, what has happened is he basically, the president is looking at felony charges now.
Yes, because this is no longer a Buttery Mel's case where news pundits just sort of accuse each other's candidates of choices back and forth. This is a real thing on real legal documents where a person really is going to jail that says the president of the United States is a criminal that ordered crimes to be committed, and hence why everyone's fleeing from the chief of staff position.
I like that the president has come out and tried to say that they weren't campaign contributions, that they were private transactions and this, that, and the other. Look, man, you can't change the law and go, I didn't break the law. It was medicinal cocaine. Sorry, dude. That's not how it works. And if I remember correctly, because of the way they acted about it, they actually made it illegal campaign contributions, right?
Yeah, I mean, they did everything that they possibly could do wrong. But they misappropriated campaign finances, which is something I said months ago is a real crime.
Well, now they're also looking at his inauguration spending, which I don't even know how that's going to play out. I didn't know there were rules on your inauguration spending.
It's going to play out very not well. He has these crimes that are already attached to his name has nothing to do with the Trump Russia investigation, which is still going full steam ahead.
That's another. See, no collusion. Now you're just nitpicking.
Manafort is going to prison for an extremely long time. You have no idea how fucked he is by screwing up his plea deal.
I'm just saying that
he breached the agreement, and that is as done as someone can get. But at the same time, that case is also going to be squarely attached to Trump.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Look, if I was in the trouble Manafort was in, and they gave me a plea deal, I would. You remember that old game we'd play as kids called Mother May I? Kind of like Simon Says.
You would always say Mother May I to Mueller before he took a piss from then on.
Oh, dude, I would say Mueller May I, everything, no matter what. Excuse me, Mueller May I, can I go to the bathroom? I would hire not so much a lawyer, I think, but maybe a lawyer and a script supervisor to be like, all right, everything I do, make sure I am in legal compliance.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's several things you got to understand here. For one thing, he cannot withdraw his guilty plea, right? He is still guilty of everything he pled guilty to,
Right.
but now he gets none of the leniency, and in fact, he may receive a much more harsher penalty because he breached the agreement, and they have good reason to do that because they can no longer use him as a good faith witness in the case. So he hurt their case in a way that will make them vindictive against him.
Dude, I'd be buying Mueller and the whole team donuts, just like anytime I was out, I'd be like, hey, all you FBI guys want coffee? And I'd look at my lawyer and be like, is there a way to purchase coffee so that it doesn't look like a bribe? I just want them to be happy. You know what I mean? I'd just be like, anything I can do, and I don't mean in a bribe way. I just mean, please don't kill me. Please don't put me in prison for several lifetimes. Just
also Mueller, Manafort cannot plead the fifth either, not anymore. So he can also get harsher sentences labeled against him now.
I think that I would be to the point where
it's just worse and worse and worse.
I would just start like I'd spend all my off time in soup kitchens and at like the Last Wish Foundation and like just. All right, I gotta balance these scales out. Maybe they'll see. Yeah, maybe I can donate to cancer. I just.
Because whenever you plead guilty, during a plea deal, you waive your right to the Fifth Amendment. That's just sort of required, and it does not get reinstated once you breach the Fifth, and will now have the book thrown at you.
Also, why didn't these people disappear when the shit started to hit the fan?
Because a lot of them thought that the president would just pardon them. A lot of people think that Trump's power is infinite, and to their credit, it does seem like it was for a long time. Like you said, I didn't think his capital would ever run out. I really did. Part of my deepest fears would be that we'd keep waiting for the Mueller report to drop year in, year out, all the way until his re-election in 2020 and his next re-election in 2024.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's a third term. Yeah, once Trump, who's going to stop him? Who's going to stop him from running and winning again? No one stopped his crimes. Who would stop him from continuing to break the Constitution?
You just imagine that, like, if he ever does go to trial, he appoints himself as the judge and also as the jury and also as the prosecution.
I'm just picturing a whole lot of Trumps in the courtroom, and including like the media has been completely replaced by Trump, and he's like, here, let me get your good angle. All right. And he's just like zooming in on money. Oh yes, that's the good stuff.
Yeah. The thing I'm most excited about, I think we talked about last time a little bit too, is now that the Democrats control the House, beautiful, wonderful Maxine Waters, who he called very low IQ, is now in charge of like being able to subpoena his financial records. And
womp, womp.
It's just like,
So how many more ties to Russia does he have? Because we know he's been doing business with them well into his campaign for president.
It's the same way that I believe that was it Don Jr. that like insulted
that's another thing that came out was that what now? Don Jr. Cortez?
Don Jr. like had some kind of
Oh, yeah. They've been fighting on Twitter too, so that's funny.
No, it was great though because what did he say? He said something about eating dogs or something, some kind of derogatory, like awful.
She can eat dogs like they do in Venezuela or something.
Yeah, some stupid because he thinks he's funny on Twitter, and it's like, guys, have we learned nothing that even comedians get in trouble for bad jokes on Twitter? Don Jr., you're a joke, but you're not a funny joke. So, yeah, he shared a meme featuring photographs of his father and Ocasio-Cortez, which suggested that her progressive policies would result in Americans having to eat dogs. So she came back with she knows, young people know how to use Twitter. That's all I'm saying. Like, you don't attack a young person on Twitter. I'm trying to find the thing where she came back. But she said, you may want to be careful at attacking people that will soon have the power to subpoena you.
Yeah.
It was just like, you're attacking a soon-to-be sitting member of is it the Congress or the House?
She's going to be a member of the Senate.
The Senate. So you're attacking a member of the Senate who's going to have power to subpoena you. Why is that anything that you would do?
Speaking of, let's have a note here about impeachment numbers in the Senate, if you'd like for me to go over it.
I absolutely.
It's just kind of
I like how you asked
educational
me, and I'm like, this is a podcast. Yes, you should go over it.
But you might have more to say about the thing.
No, it's just
about Anita Cortez.
like
So
if
this is an educational segment for our listeners to know what impeachment's going to look like for Trump.
what is it gonna like them going? You're impeached but not removed, and he's like, ew, okay, that wasn't so bad.
That's another one of my fears. No, this is just something that Scro has mentioned many times before, and I wanted to give a quick quote of his here. That the thing you need to know about Trump being impeached is that because it takes a two-thirds majority to impeach the president, a lot of people will sit around counting the votes and thinking, well, if we get every Democrat plus 12 Republicans, we can hit that magic number of 67. But that's never going to happen.
Right.
Instead, it's going to be, and this is where I'm quoting, it'll be a leadership organized vote. He's thinking in the 75 to 87 range. So that's 87 to 13 voting in favor of impeachment, with the remaining 13 being allowed nays on the primary grounds, or on primary grounds rather, such as they will get primaried if they vote yes on impeaching him. So certain people who absolutely cannot vote
Right.
yes will be allowed by Mitch McConnell to vote no.
Yeah.
But basically that means McConnell will control every single vote that happens. He won't allow anyone to vote their consciousness. He will look at this whole thing strategically and decide that it's more damning for him to let this go on and to let the Democrats continue to have Trump as an attack point against the Republicans
Right.
than it would be to remove a Republican president.
Well, it's kind of like,
and so as soon as he's certain that Trump has outlived his usefulness, he will tell everyone, well, we're going to impeach him now. And they have to do what McConnell says.
Yeah, do you
and
think
the only people that say no will be the ones he gives permission to say no.
Yeah, do you think they will actually remove him though?
I don't know. See, that's something that's never been tested before in America. We've never had to remove a president. Nixon stepped down voluntarily,
Right.
and nothing really came of Clinton's impeachment. So
So I got the Ocasio-Cortez quote. Just to go back real quick, she says, "I've noticed that Junior here has a habit of posting nonsense about me whenever the Mueller investigation heats up." She then says, "Please keep it coming, Junior. It's definitely a quote very, very large brain unquote idea to troll a member of a body that will have subpoena power in a month. Have fun." God, she's precious. I wish that she would let us be part of her staff as part of her. She will never do that. We're unworthy.
I mean, maybe if we keep pushing for it, some member of our listening audience, which is
I
getting bigger,
I think we take our chances with that whole episode about spider semen. I think
that the spider semen crowd played very good to the spider semen demographic.
I think we're too politically volatile, and I think we've said the word spider semen too many times in multiple episodes. I mean, how big is the Wesley demographic? It seems like a demographic of one to me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, actually, perfect segue here. I have a shout-out update that I'd like to bring up.
Okay.
So I've been slacking on checking our iTunes reviews lately
I have
to see
too.
if we had
I
any
gave
new
up.
ones.
I just assume we're talking into the void, but that's fine. Because I think that's
Same,
what
right?
I think that's what death is.
But but I did that again today, right?
Yeah.
And well, while we don't have any new reviews, you may recall a while back that I mentioned we got a review from someone named Mo Daggles.
Yeah, I know who that is. That's my old roommate.
You said that you were pretty sure you knew who that was, but you didn't think they actually listened to our podcast, right?
I think they just gave us a rating because I asked them to, yes.
Right. So I went back and checked in iTunes, and Mo Daggles had actually updated their review to state that, oh, I do listen to your podcast.
We're getting responses. Go Mo Daggles. Oh, that's great.
So what's crazy to think is that for this response to have happened, he would have had to have listened to the episode where we talked about him and said she
yeah.
would have had to have listened that late into the episode to find out we were talking about her, right? And then been like, oh, well, I'll just let them know that I heard this.
I do like that we are starting a grassroots campaign of two friends that we have that now listen to us. Yay, us! We're making it!
Woot! Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I thought that until now all we had was Wesley and that one angry Russian listening to us.
Yeah,
we have a Russian that gives us negative comments on YouTube.
To be fair,
but now our listening ship is now up to 3 people. We have Wesley's, Mo, and Angry Russian.
Well, the thing about the Angry Russian was he was dogging us because he's like, I don't even have anything uploaded, and I have more subscribers than you. Sad. And I'm like, what did I say? I just said, like, до свидания, comrade. Like, I don't
I,
look, man.
I wrote him an essay. If anyone wants to
Yeah,
read, go
that's
find us on YouTube
yeah.
and at youtube.com/thriftingtonpost.
That's the
Find
stake.
find that episode. It's the one about God, what's the name? Kavanaugh. It's the one of our Kavanaugh episodes.
Yeah,
I write him not one but two essays because he responded to the first one,
yeah.
saying, "Well, I guess you people aren't stupid, but da 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 da." And so I
Oh, we
responded to that
absolutely
one
are,
too.
sir. You are wrong. We are absolutely stupid.
Yes, but we're just very loud about it, so that makes
Yeah,
us
yeah,
right.
yeah. I want to be like, that's where you made your first mistake. You thought I wasn't stupid, but I am.
Because it's not might that makes right, it's whoever speaks the loudest.
You know,
Ain't that right, Trump? Okay, sad.
I just want to say, look, if I had gotten in this for the subscribers, I would probably do it very differently. I don't know. I'd probably try to say things I think people want to hear. Like,
We'd probably advertise and actually
yeah, and not
let
ta-
people know that our podcast exists and
and
not just like record it, upload it, and forget about it.
yeah, not talk about like milking spiders and whatnot.
Ugh, that's still gross. I'd rather talk about spider semen.
All right, so back to the anarchy at hand.
Future. Oh right.
So I lost our train of thought there, man.
Back to the future.
Oh, we were talking about Manafort going to jail and like Cohen going to jail and like
Let's talk
Nixon.
about the shutdown.
So Nixon stepped down. So we've never tested, can the president get impeached? All right, look, I'm a huge history nerd, right? I love history. If you look at there's the only angle you can look at like the founding documents of our government and like precedent. The only way you could look at it and think the president was above the law was if you really didn't want to see the president get impeached. There's nothing that would give you the belief that like a president could not be removed from office or indicted of a crime while in office. It just hasn't happened yet.
So far, we've only had 4 documents ever written on four like official documents that argue for it one way or the other. 3 were for Nixon saying that he couldn't be indicted while in office, but those were all by like people that were friends of his. And one that says yes, they can be, but that was by Kent Starr during his Clinton impeachment. So it's all like actually they're all biased Republican documents. So we don't know. We don't really know where it would go if real people that actually are exercise responsibility and play by the rules decided to try their hand at it.
Well, we've had one other president impeach, and that was Andrew Johnson. But they didn't. Again, I'm trying to find it right now. I don't believe
like any official court documents are written up on that.
Yeah, no, he went to full impeachment, but I don't believe they removed him. I'm trying to find. I'm trying to pull it up.
We've never removed anyone through impeachment.
That's why I was like, yeah. It says so on February 24th, Johnson dismissed Stanton of the House, and the House of Representatives voted 126 to 47, with 17 members not voting in favor of resolution to impeach for crimes and misdemeanors. 1 week later, they adopted 11 articles of impeachment. The articles charged him with all this stuff, conspiring, this, that, and the other, da-da-da-da. They also charged him with bringing disgrace and ridicule to the presidency. Let's see, because I don't remember. I don't think they removed him, but I'm trying to figure out. Oh God, this gets deeper and deeper. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Well, while you're reading up on that, let me talk about the thanking the president for smocking.
Oh my God, that made me so mad. So you told me. So the president had a tweet the other day that said no smocking gun, right?
Multiple times, actually, so it wasn't a typo or anything. He legitimately does not know how to spell smoking.
And you sent it to me. I go, what the fuck is a smocking gun? And like you're watching me on Messenger as I figure out that he means smoking gun, and it took my brain to figure out what the hell he was talking about.
Right, it's because we have a president that's so stupid that his words become an accidental riddle.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So back to Johnson real quick. The trial ended with his opponents narrowly failing to achieve the 2/3 majority necessary to convict him. So he was impeached, and I guess they were going to remove him, but I guess they ran short of the votes to remove him, so he was impeached but not removed. So it looks like they were moving to remove him, and they narrowly missed it.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, do you want to know why he was talking about smocking?
Yeah. So, oh God, what is the smoking gun?
Well, Comey had to go testify,
I'm mad about
and
that testimony. It seems like the last gasp of a lame duck Congress. They were trying to make him testify behind closed doors, and he said he didn't want to do it because he didn't want them to, as they do, to leak selective pieces. He wanted it to be out in the open.
yeah, but what the selective pieces I picked out of it were really dumb because he had to address comments made by Trump, such as there are, quote, there are hundreds of pictures of Comey and Robert Mueller hugging and kissing. So Comey actually had to address the accusation that there were photos of he and Mueller hugging and kissing made by the president. He had to respond to that under oath.
All
And
right.
of course, he said that he's never hugged nor kissed Mueller. Quote, I'm an admirer, but not that kind of admirer.
Look, I gotta go and throw this out there. Mueller does not look huggable. Like I can't comment on Comey. Comey looks dumb. Like I really don't like Comey. But there are no photos of Robert Mueller going back to like I haven't seen him as a child, but I imagine he has that same emotionless face. And I don't think I think the last person to hug Mueller was also the first person he killed.
I picture.
I take it back. I'm sorry. He wouldn't kill him. The last person to hug Mueller was also the first person he prosecuted.
I'd imagine Mueller at like 12 years old walking into a library and he like stops just for a moment to turn and shush the librarian who's getting too loud.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
that's the type of person Mueller is.
Yeah,
But
his mom hugged him and he took her to court.
so, so after that testimony made by the biased Senate as just sort of a hit piece against Comey, Derpy Trump takes to Twitter, wherein he changes his story several times over the span of just a handful of tweets. Meanwhile, violently misspelling the word smoking.
Well, like it's also the guy who is on fucking tape about just like, yeah, you can just grab women by the pussy. Uh,
When you're rich, they let you do it.
I've seen the two heads of the FBI hugging and kissing. Like,
I
really?
know it's a weird thing that he accused Comey of, and it's weirder that Comey had to address it under oath.
I just wish I had a little bit of the juice that Trump has. I wish I could just say outlandish things and then like investigative bodies would go to
And,
work in people's day jobs.
now people have to deal with it and pretend like it's reality.
I would love a Senate. I would love a Senate hearing where somebody's under oath and they're going,
Wesley
it-
would be in court for the rest of his life.
"Oh my God,
The things we would say about him just so Wesley would have to
I'd
talk
make so
about
many
it in public.
accusations against Wesley. I'd be like, yes, you know what? I saw Wesley kissing Santa Claus." And then he'd have to be under oath and be like, Mr. Wesley, did you kiss and hug Santa Claus? What? No, that's a song that they just made up and put my name in. That's not
So,
real.
Wesley, according to this accusation, you go into the woods to shit on top of bear shit so that you can pretend like your shits are really, really big. Is that true?
That's not even a thing. What? That's a drill hole. That's not a thing people do.
I only did that one time. You won yours.
It's just like just to have a little bit of this. Like, I'm such a sad, just like impotent human being in my life. I can't do anything. I'm stuck in traffic. I'm yelling at my steering wheel, and this guy just
Yelling at the buses, flicking them off.
this guy gets to just like say like the weirdest things, and then we like that's what's so crazy about it. He says crazy things, and then like elected statesmen, people that serve in the hallowed halls of Congress, people whose job it is to investigate crimes, have to go to work, and this is on their docket for today.
Yep, yep. It's wonderful.
I just,
So,
I'm just
do we
jealous.
wanna
I want a little bit of it. I mean, I also think like it's the same way I feel about most rich people. I think you waste it.
yeah.
It's like, why would
yeah.
you own more than one yacht? You can't drive them at the same time.
I mean, I'd like to be so rich that I could own multiple homes and then just like fire them into the air and shoot them with a giant
That makes sense.
battleship.
But it's like,
That'd be fun.
why would you want to own like multiple expensive yachts or cars? You can only drive one at a time.
But at the same time, it seems so wasteful. Like Jimmy Carter's out there making homes for people, and I'll just be blowing them up. I could be giving those houses to people.
Well, you could make money on the spectacle and then give it to Jimmy Carter.
Oh, you're right.
But
I could
see-
like charge people tickets.
But it's like the gift of the Magi. These people like Trump have all this power and then they waste it on stupid stuff. Because I'd make them go to court and talk about how big my dong was.
I mean, we're
I'd be
not that
like, you
far
know
away from
what? The
that
other day I
happening.
was in the steam room and James Comey saw my penis and he was like, "Wow, that is the longest penis I've ever seen." And then Comey has to go under oath and like testify that he did not.
It
Yeah,
looked at me and it had all these spots on it, and it said, "I'm sorry, but the princess is in another castle."
saw that coming. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
it
It's
had
just
tiny little shoes.
it's just like it's a waste of power and it's a waste of money, you know,
Yar.
at the very least. So yeah, so friggin' Comey had to go testify about that. I'm surprised they haven't tried to drag Hillary back out of whatever fortress of solitude she's in right now.
Oh, this is something I was going to say earlier about the Manafort case filings. It has been noted that they've been colluding with the Russian government since 2015. In the report, they used the presidential campaign had synergy at the government level because the emails between them, showed that Trump eagerly wanted to have good synergy with their government and work very closely with them to get elected.
I mean, I hate
So
him. I hate him more just for using the word synergy.
yeah, or as the president put it on Twitter in all caps, totally clears the president.
Yeah, that's why he was
Because
supposed.
when
Because
that report came out, he's all like, yes, okay, see, that clears me. It shows there was no collusion. Look, they used the word synergy. That means no collusion.
is there a good word for like synchronized treason, like treason, treasonry? I don't know. But yeah,
Anyway, the semantics game won't last forever, and I mean, Mike Pence has already dipped and replaced himself with like a real doll.
that's true because every image of Mike Pence, he's just kind of stationary, sitting stiffly, closing his eyes. I do love that idea. I hope that Pence has because if Pence snuck a Pence real doll into the White House, you wouldn't be able to tell. He doesn't speak
Uh,
anymore. He just kind of sits there with his hands folded and his eyes closed. I mean,
Because remember that happened this week. Mike Pence, Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer all sat down in front of news cameras to talk about the border wall and the government shutdown.
that sit down. I was telling you this earlier. That sit
And Mike
down
Pence didn't say a single word.
because he's
He
a real
barely
doll. He's
breathed.
he's
Yeah,
gone.
he didn't say a word the whole time. He's just a real doll. He just sits in his chair.
Pence is in a basement in Indiana, just praying and trying to not be gay, and just hoping that he can outlast this.
Dear Lord, please let the luscious buttocks of a man stop arousing me. That's
Dear-
all I want is just
Also,
to go to Mother
dear
and
Lord,
have only her arouse me. Why can't Mother be the sexy one? Why
dear,
do I have to imagine Keanu Reeves to get it up?
why do I have to have sex with my own real doll, Lord? But yeah, like, so this sit down, I don't even understand that. So I guess they met just to do kind of a meet and greet with him, like Schumer, Pelosi, and Trump.
It
And
was a surprise. It was Trump's idea. He wanted to call them over to talk about this with them in person. Like, I guess it was meant to be a distraction,
but
but
it wasn't meant to be. I don't think like that. But like I think
it's
he's trying to reality TV it without producers and like segment people.
yeah.
And
But it's amazing is that the entire conversation just made Trump look like a whiny little
he was
weakling.
screaming by the end of it like,
And
"I'll shut down the government until I get
yes,
Spider-Man." Like, you
get
know?
me pictures of spider government. The wall. Yeah, get me pictures of spider wall.
Yeah, he seemed like the
Oh,
kind
do you
of.
think spider wall would be covered in spider semen?
Oh God, we can only hope so.
We'll make the Mexicans milk the wall, and Mexico will pay for it.
But he seems like the kind of guy that would be like, "Bring me Superman, or else we'll shut down the government." Superman, you have 24 hours.
Right, but the piece de la resistance is that they tricked Trump into confessing, or and quote, "I'm proud to down the government, Chuck. I'll take the mantle. I'll be the one to shut it down."
I won't blame. Yeah, he's like, "I won't blame you, Chuck." I'll tell. It's like, dude.
Right? They kept trying to blame Chuck for shutting down the government a year ago. He didn't shut it down. I have a memory that goes back 1 year. I
Chuck,
was alive then. I was
how are you
engaged
gonna?
politically.
How are you
Chuck
going
Schumer
to?
didn't shut down the
How
government
are
a year
you?
ago.
How are you going to blame the Democratic minority when you control all three branches of government? And he
Yeah,
was
they
bragging
controlled
about
the
that
House,
too.
the Senate,
I
the
did.
executive branch, and the Supreme Court, and they still said it was the Schumer shutdown. So I remember back then they tried to push that narrative, and I'm like, this is stupid. No one's ever going to buy this. It's clearly the GOP shutdown.
I still remember that little jab that That man, God, like he was outmatched. And here's
It
the
was
thing, I that
Nancy Pelosi had some amazing barbs. It was
that
wonderful.
meeting made me so mad that I wanted Chuck Schumer to punch Trump in the face. I
it
that's
it made
terrible.
me. It actually made me like Chuck Schumer for the
Because
first time in a
he's
long
finally not
time.
just reading off a script, going like, "We're
Right?
very
He's
disappointed. Your mother and I and the family have
Yeah,
decided."
they're
Yeah,
doing something. They're finally doing something, and it's wonderful.
his little smile at the camera when he just goes, "Well, when the Republican president is bragging about winning Idaho and Montana, he's in trouble."
Indiana.
Indiana. Either way,
I
I
remember
didn't.
that because Trump said we did win. We did win India. I'm serious. He said that. I was listening to it. I was like, "Wait, did he just say India? India? Okay, all right. Yeah, you won India."
Yeah.
He was so happy about that, and he kept saying, "Did we win in the Senate? Did we win? Did we win in the Senate?
You
You picked up one seat since
yeah,
2016.
you held the
Whoop-de
Senate,
fucking do."
but you're about to
And that
lose.
was
Yeah.
and that was your best fucking map for the Senate in a very long time. So good job, I guess.
So yeah,
Like they should have picked up like 10 seats, but
this
they didn't.
the story afterward that you sent me was what was interesting, where it says Trump was throwing papers and angry, and then like was it the next day he wouldn't even get out of bed?
My favorite part was that he told reporters, "Oh no, actually we get along great. That was just the warm up. But whenever we went behind closed doors, that's whenever we were getting along. We get along great." And then he goes home and he won't get out of bed and he's pissed off and he's throwing shit.
Look again. You're wasting it. I'm a normal, impotent human being, and I don't mean like I'm impotent, like oh I can't do it. I mean like as a human being in my soul, I can't achieve change in the world, right?
Yar.
Um, but I have days where I don't want to get out of bed because it's just life seems overwhelming. If you made me the goddamn president and I was sad, I would pick up the phone and be like, "Give me Elon Musk, get me a jetpack. I'm sad." You know what I mean? Like, God, you could have so many things. You could be like, "Yeah, bring me some crystal meth." Like, you're the president. They'll do it. Like, you got all the perk. It's crazy. You could be like, you wanna race motorcycles today? Let's go race motorcycles. Yeah, like,
I want to race jetpacks. Get me those jetpacks.
yeah,
Get me pictures of Jetpack
you want to
Man.
race jetpacks? You want to get a full Batman suit? Like, there's so many like little things I can't do. I got to go to work. My back hurts. I didn't pack my lunch. Like I got problems, but you're the president. There's so many things to make you not sad. I'd be like, get me Kevin Hart on the phone. I need to giggle. You know what I mean? Like, there's just
Yar.
you have so many things at your fingertips, and you're so unimaginative. That's the biggest crime. Well, there are bigger crimes. That's what makes me sad. Like you can't.
I
My
don't.
God.
Also, he's really mad at the news for covering that because right after this he decided to kick them out of the Christmas party. The White
He's
House Christmas party this year, he de-invited all the press to it.
That's fine, man. Like, who's that gonna
Mo-
hurt more,
mo-
them or you? They'll go have fun somewhere else.
Most of them responded by saying, "Actually, we weren't going this year anyway."
I would. There were so many places I would rather be than at like the Trump White House Christmas party.
Yar.
Because you remember when that time he was trying to get like he wanted to be like Obama, so he wanted to get all these movie stars, and the only people he could get were like C-list actors from like the '70s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
remember
he had like
that,
old
this sort of
Scott
reminds me
Baio.
of North Korea whenever they tried to make a movie back during Kim Jong Il.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, so you're gonna take your toys and go home? Like you're gonna de-invite them to the Christmas party? That's really gonna hurt them.
Of course, Kim Jong Il kidnapped the actors he wanted to be in the movie, and he held them for several years.
That's what I would do as president. I'd be like, I'm sad. Let's kidnap some actors and make a movie.
Well, we're gonna kidnap Robert Downey Jr. and we'll just have
No.
to have.
No, I wouldn't kidnap Robert Downey Jr. He's a national treasure and he's got to make the other Avengers movies. I couldn't do that to him.
I was gonna have Will Smith play his part in the other Avengers movies, and he will be living at my place making alternate Avengers movies.
I think
I don't
would
know.
just.
I'm the president. I'm rich.
I think I would just.
Give me Downey Jr. Give me pictures of Spider-Man.
I think that's what. I'm sad. Bring me pictures of Spider-Man. Not off the internet. Get a camera and go take them.
Who's currently playing Spider-Man? Kidnap him.
No, that kid's also a national treasure. B-list or C-list. You can't kidnap A-list actors.
I don't know any C-list
Yeah,
actors. I
you
only watch
do.
good
Yes, you
movies.
do. You've seen every episode of Family Matters.
Yeah. Oh, get me Ben Affleck. You said C-list actors, right?
He's still too popular.
Eh.
You got to be like bring me Steve Urkel.
I will take. What's his name? Something White. Joan White? Jonah White?
I don't know. You have to give me more to go on than just a
The,
stuttered name.
the Steve Urkel's real name.
Oh, Jaleel White.
Julia White.
No, not
I knew it was
Julia.
something like that.
Jaleel.
Jaleel White.
Yeah.
I was in the ballpark.
I think that I would make the guy that played Carl my. I think I would make him my. What is Sarah Huckabee Sanders' job?
Fucking. God, I would have known if you hadn't asked. It's one of those questions. Speaker of the. She's the hand of the king.
She's the. That doesn't help. Why can't I think of that job?
Correspondent. White House correspondent.
Whatever, the person, his worm tongue, the person that talks for you. I would hire Carl from Family Matters, and whenever
She's the Lorax. She's the Trump Lorax.
whenever things got too heated, and they were like, "Well, what about the president racing jetpacks instead of solving the humanitarian crisis?" I would just have him be like, "I bought back my own stamp," and just do Family Matters quotes until the
I remember
press
that
board went
episode.
away. I do too.
I bought back my own stamp.
It was so good.
And whenever he gets really mad at the press, he could be like, "Go home, go home,
Yes!
go home."
That's
and Wolf Blitzer will be like, "I don't have to take this. I'm going home."
That's perfect. Yeah. See, that's if you're gonna go crazy, be creative crazy.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders is what's her job? And fucking the Mooch had it before her, and
Spicy had it before him.
yeah, like we know all the people that had this job.
Guys, keep listening to the podcast. We're gonna figure this out together. We're not gonna give up on you.
Right now, I'm not Googling it or anything. I'm just like pacing around trying to remember. Like,
I googled it, and the third thing down is Sarah Huckabee Sanders' legacy.
Fuck, I keep wanting to say Speaker of the House, but that's Paul Ryan and about to be Nancy Pelosi.
Friggin' Paul Ryan.
It's not Speaker of anything. It's
Oh, she's the press secretary.
Press Secretary. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah.
What, did you look it up?
Yes, of course I did. I'm not gonna spend the rest of the podcast going, what is it? Head trumpeter. No. She's the hear ye guy. That's not Town crier. I got it. No, it's not right. Fuck. What is it?
The Muckraker. Oh, that's us.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's us.
Woohoo! We found something that we were. That's what we were trying to do, right? Okay, so speaking of not remembering stuff, I want to introduce a new segment: Dementia Moment of the Week.
Okay.
This is goes. Last week I had actual quote from our actual president, right? Unquote. So I figured since I have another one this week, why not make it a reoccurring segment?
Okay. We have so many discontinued and then kind of continued segments. That's kind of cute.
I do have That's Cute news too, by the way.
Perfect. Well, we're running out of time, so you better get to it.
All right, our Dementia Moment of the Week. This is an actual quote from the actual President of the United States. I haven't heard this, but I can only tell you this. Hillary Clinton, her husband got money, she got money, she paid money. Why doesn't someone talk about that?
Oh my God.
I swear to fucking God, word for word, he said this.
I'm sorry. That is like I mean, he tweets crazy stuff, but that's the best. Like, he's got nothing, man. He's like a comedian on stage. It's like, how long do I have? I got 5 more minutes. Okay.
Oh, disaster. So about that, the airplane food.
You know what? I heard Hillary Clinton and Peter Strzok, I heard that they got on a plane, and then she got on a plane, and then the plane went. And you're like, was there a second tweet we're missing? Also, I'm pretty sure the housekeepers are stealing from me.
All right, that's cute news. Trump to expand who gets deported.
Oh, yeah, I saw this, and I was like, can't you just leave these people alone? But I know the angle he's coming out with this one.
So Trump moves to deport Vietnam War refugees, and I'm reading a long quote here. First and second generation Vietnamese were some of the most loyal supporters of the Republican Party. When John McCain passed away, flags were flown, half-staffed, and vigils were held at the Vietnamese communities throughout the United States. They still remembered that he lobbied for an amendment to become, or that became law, allowing unmarried adult children of political detainees to come to the U.S. In fact, Vietnamese voters had a high favorability rating of Trump compared to other Asian American groups.
Okay.
And all that's from, what's the website? From MSN.com.
All right. And
So,
now he wants to deport them?
right, because Trump hates John McCain for cucking him out of repealing Obamacare, and so just to be a petty little twat to the already deceased McCain, he wants to deport people who voted for him, by the way.
Yeah. How do you deport people
just to be an asshole?
How do you deport people that are second generation, mean that they were born and lived here?
Right.
That's
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works. Also,
maybe 14th Amendment people will do something about that.
well, I think I know where he's coming from with that. I think the thing about it was he knows that Mueller is a Vietnam veteran, right? But he can't spell good. So I think that he thinks
he's trying to deport Mueller.
yeah,
Oh.
he's trying to deport Mueller to Vietnam. He's like, perfect.
Trump,
Mueller's a Vietnam
Trump,
veteran. They're Vietnam immigrants. I can't spell. Same thing. Deported. Boom.
all right, because Trump's not a reader, by the
What
way.
if they do that though? What if they just what if they put Mueller on a plane and they just send him to Vietnam?
You know those documents that came out last week? Like we hadn't even had time to read them yet because the stuff about Individual One, which at the time I was arguing Individual One's clearly Trump, and then whenever we got off and I actually read it, I'm like, oh, it says it directly. It says Individual One, who later became president, ordered crimes to be committed, da 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 da. So now everyone, it's very clear to everyone.
You think he'll start lying about that?
One.
He'll be like, you know what, Individual One, totally not me. I didn't win. Election was rigged. Fake. Witch hunt.
Trump didn't read it. Like, these are documents that are going to put him in prison. He didn't read it, and people told him, oh, no, it's fine. And that's why he tweeted, see, totally clears the president. Because handlers told him, oh, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
That's why I said if I became president, we were talking about who we would, before the podcast, who we would put on our cabinet. I'd make the mad money guy part of my staff, but he's my disaster guy. I create a new staff position where the guy tells me the greatest threat to me. So he just walks in my office and goes, boom, this is the greatest threat to you today, Pete. Wow, woo, woo. And I'd be like, good. Now I know what I need to look out for.
And that's why I would put the ShamWow guy in charge of all my hookers.
I would put that guy in charge of political cleanup, right? So he could just ShamWow it away. ShamWow.
Have a shammy? Have a whammy? Wow!
Anytime they're like, well, what about
punch a hooker right in the face?
What about these allegations that you shammy, whammy, wow?
But yeah, I was just thinking about my cabinet, and we'll get into this in another episode whenever we start running for president in
or whenever
2020.
whenever there's a new presidential election and we're not just anger shouting about the current president. We'll do like fantasy presidential cabinet draft picks. You know what I mean?
We've been doing this for a long time, since 2015 when Trump announced he's running for president. We're like, oh, that's funny, and then like the joke never went away, like the punchline never came, and then we were like, oh God.
Yep.
But then he used Russia to rig the election and stole it. That's how Hillary had over 5 million more votes, but still lost.
Well, like I said, I think this is going to change a lot. God, I wonder if we're going to make it to 2020.
I don't know, but I mean, it's finally happening. Like, his crimes are now starting to come out on paper, and come January, as soon as the Dems take the House.
He seems like the kind of guy that they would serve like a subpoena to, and he would eat it, thinking that destroyed the subpoena. That's right. I've destroyed your subpoena. You have no power. We'll just print another one, right? Like we can print infinite subpoenas.
I think he'd make Eric eat it.
Do it, Dad. Don Jr., make Eric eat the subpoena.
Oh,
also,
right.
Don Jr., make Eric dress as the president while I escape in my jetpack.
Oh, this jetpack's too heavy to put on. This is too difficult. Don Jr., quickly have Eric escape as me. Excellent.
I have this hope that it goes down that like they're trying to arrest the president and he's just OJing it on the freeway in a golf cart.
my favorite thing was on the Daily Show. It said, what if he tries to flee and they like find him like the Unabomber in a shack in the woods, like buried in Burger King wrappers. And he's like, "Oh no, how did you find me?" And they're like, "You put your name on the shack outside." Ah, disaster.
Yeah, that's what he does. Um, and I hope that we sell. I hope we sell Trump Tower to some Guatemalan immigrants.
Individual one tower.
Yeah, I did enjoy that the other day. But yeah, well, okay, so this is weird, and I don't know if it's just me, but I've noticed that normally the people that talk shit online, anytime there's something anti-Trump, have been weirdly silent lately.
Yeah, because it's becoming more and more difficult to turn against him. But on top of that, this oh god, I sent you the name of the guy, something McCartney. Anyway, there's
yeah, give me more than that to go on again.
Anyway, it's a far right conspiracy nut who a lot of people had galvanized around and listened to adamantly, and a whole lot of these internet trolls that are out there listen to him, then go and regurgitate his talking points. Well, whenever the Cohen papers dropped and Individual One started getting floated around, that's when he finally changed his tune, and it turned a whole lot of deplorables off to Trump finally.
Don't you wish that people would like take our things and regurgitate them into the internet? Because that would be great, right? If we're just like, oh, that guy's using our podcast
nice.
as part of his argument. That's great. He shouldn't do it because we're very dumb, but...
Oh, that. No. I was just thinking it'd be great if people that listen to this podcast could, like, let other people know it existed, and then we could have more listeners.
Oh, yeah, if they could, like...
I mean, we could do it, but advertising, it takes time, and we're not the president. We can't just sit around and eat cheeseburgers and tweet all day. You should all listen to my podcast, or else I'll be very sad.
Man,
okay?
that would be great.
Sad.
That's one of the things I would do as president. I'd be like, I'm sad.
Just tweet about your podcast.
Yeah, I'd just tweet about my podcast, and they'd be like, you can't promote personal stuff. And I'd be like, well, you know what? It's now the official White House podcast.
But yeah, Pete here has to go, like, be bothered by buses tomorrow morning. I have to go out into the cold and interview some randos out there. Very early, very sad.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, that's the news. Like, so we're just...
because of that, you should all, like, do our advertising and marketing for us. All right? Cool.
Be our loyal army of muckraking, I don't know. Listen to it or not, I don't care. I'm just going to keep making them until I can't anymore.
And make other people give us hits. The numbers getting bigger make us feel better. It gives us some small bit of solace
Honestly,
in our otherwise
I've been thinking a lot about
lives.
it. I don't know what we're going to do with this podcast when there's no more Trump.
I mean, we talked about this a long time ago. We didn't want to tie this podcast to Trump. That's why we didn't name it Snake News, right? we didn't want it to be about him.
Oh my
we wanted
God,
it to be about more general stuff.
I still think that would have been a better title. So we were originally going to title this thing like, you know what? It's Snake News, okay? It's all news about snakes.
News for snakes.
And yeah, we didn't go
News
with
for
that.
snakes.
But I feel like we've tied it to Trump anyway. It's like, I feel very much like...
Well, I mean, that's like how Stephen Colbert and The Daily Show and all these other shows are just like all Trump now. Even John Oliver, who always had an entirely different topic every single episode, most of his episodes this year have been about Trump, and last year. Like, you can't escape it because it's like an asteroid is coming to destroy Earth. That is the number one thing on everyone's mind.
I like to think of it more like
Trump is a clear and present danger and a threat to our democracy. This is important.
I think it's the way that Gandalf described Gollum in like the Lord of the Rings trilogy when he was just like, he should be pitied and he will play a bigger role later in our lives or something like that. Basically like, yeah, he'll play a big role later in our lives.
But we'll be like John Oliver. Whenever Trump's gone, every episode will be like special and unique, and Pete's Science Corner will come back, and we'll talk about existential things and let people really ask the big questions like, who are we? Why are we? Why is there anything instead of nothing? Stuff to really wrap your noodle around. Right now, though, it's all bigly okay, sad.
I kind of hope that we die at the same time so we can continue this podcast from beyond the grave, because I think those...
That'd be fun. Oh, and Wesley would be in charge of bringing like a recorder to the graveyard, and you know how you can like record stuff and sort of hear ghosts on tapes, the white noise.
Yeah.
That's how our podcast can be recorded in the future. And Wesley can come.
Quality's going to go way down though.
Well, I think it'd be about the same. I mean, these aren't the most high quality episodes.
People just listening to 45 minutes of static, occasionally with us being like, penis.
I think I just heard the word spider. Did I hear semen after that? No,
no, it must be somewhere on the tape recorder. Why would a ghost say that?
Spider semen.
You're listening to those Ghost Rakers. Oh, that would be great.
I
Well,
got bit by a mosquito out there tonight. This better be worth it. Hoo-ha.
I think that's our episode for this week. Hopefully next week we'll come back with more Mueller news, which would be awesome.
What's going to be great is come January, it's really going to be heating up with the other shoe dropping, and we'll be getting to talk about how Trump tried to escape the law this week. Did you hear he's still on his golf cart? Why don't they just shoot him? You can't shoot the president. I guess I'll have to keep following him on his golf cart. Oh no, they're coming after me, sad.
That's the thing. If you're a cop and you're like, all right, we're here to arrest you, and he's like, no one can stop me. So, like, as a cop, you can't, like, if you're like, stop or I'll shoot, like, you can't shoot the what does the Secret Service do in that? Do they join the cops, or do they go, you can't shoot the president, but also we can't let him go? Like, that's a predicament.
They'd be required to combat the cops, I think. But Jesus, that would be, to quote Ned Flanders, quite the dilly of a pickle.
I look forward to seeing that.
I look forward to seeing what the answer to that is.
Yep.
But yeah. So, God, we have all this coming up, and then after that, and after this tumor has been removed, there'll be some grumblings every now and again about how Mike Pence is screwing up, and maybe he'll get removed. Maybe we'll get President Pelosi.
No,
and then it all disappears.
No, he doesn't want that, because then once Trump gets removed, they'll find out that he's put a real doll in his own place, and questions will be asked. Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I've got to go back there now. I don't want to go back.
No, Mother, don't make me go back.
All right, that's our time for this week, though.